Hello friends. For any democracy to thrive, it becomes very important that the press is free in that country. A free press means an accountable government. Often cited as the most trusted man in America, Walter Cronkite, an American broadcast journalist, once said, and I quote, "Freedom of the press is not just important to democracy, it is democracy," unquote. Democracy and press are just like two sides of a currency note. For example, you walk into a grocery shop and hand over a note of 100 rupees printed on one side only. Will that note be accepted? No. The printed side also loses its value because the other side is not printed. Same it is with democracy and the press. They are valued only when they are together. Democracy functions effectively only when there is a free press which criticizes the acts of the government without any fear, and a free press exists when all the values of a democracy are intact. As the Chief Justice of India, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, said recently, vibrancy of democracy is compromised when the press is prevented from speaking truth to power. With no free press, there is no democracy. When the press is not free, the government becomes autocratic in nature and starts taking away the freedoms and rights of the people. All the values and foundations of a democratic nation will disappear if there is no free press. Today, we are living in times when dissent is being criminalized. The press is no more free. The wrongful actions of the government are going unquestioned, and those who show the courage to question are languishing behind the bars. To ensure that the government functions effectively, we need a free press. Restricting the press from speaking the truth, forcing them to self-censor their views out of fear of criminal prosecution is in violation of the basic human right of free speech and expression. The crux of my argument is that for effective governance, the press needs to be free. Let me further substantiate the claims that I made before. The recent statistics of 2022 show that the countries in which the press is free are the happiest countries. Finland is ranked first in the happiness index and fifth in the press freedom index. Denmark is ranked second in the happiness index and second in the press freedom index. Sweden is ranked seventh in the happiness index and third in the press freedom index. Norway is ranked eighth in the happiness index and first in the press freedom index. 4 countries in the top 10 of the press freedom index are also in the top 10 of the happiness index. This is no coincidence. Now let us look at where we stand in these indices. India is ranked 136th in the happiness index and 150th in the press freedom index. These indices suggest a lot about why the press should be free. When the press is free, the government is held accountable. When the government is held accountable, it works to ensure that they continue in power. A free press has the power to bring down a faulty government. No one here is advocating for the freedom to spread false information. Unfettered freedom here means the right to speak the truth without the fear of being incarcerated on the vague grounds of national security, incitement, defamation, etc., which are not even well defined in any of the codified laws of the country. Who is to decide what is permitted and what is not? Although the press has never been truly free in India, there are few instances when the courage shown by the media has done wonders. The Hindus, Bofor's expose in 1987 led to so much public fury that the government in power eventually ended up on the losing side in the 1989 general election. This is only one example of how free press can help in bringing change. Again repeating, no one is defending the freedom to spread false information. Who decides what is permitted and what is not? What is against national security and what is dissent? What is defamation and what is criticism? Why did Siddique Kapan remain in jail for more than 2 years? Why was Gauri Lankesh killed? The object of a democracy is to create an atmosphere and a society wherein people are tolerant enough to listen to the views expressed by others. Citizens getting offended by mere words should not be a characteristic of a democratic society. If mere words and pictures can offend a person, then that person needs to be changed instead of curtailing the freedom of press. French writer, historian and philosopher Voltaire once said, and I quote, "I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it." This should be the approach of any democratic government. After the cement scam was exposed by the Indian Express in the year 1981, then Member of Parliament Pilu Modi famously remarked, and I quote, "Can you imagine the improved state of the nation if we had 10 Arun Shoris working instead of one, unquote. Today, let's imagine a country where there are hundreds of journalists who speak the truth without the fear of being incarcerated, harassed and murdered. Unfettered freedom of press is the change that India needs today. Thank you.